If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. I'm Quindell Evans, and you are now listening to the BluePoetTree podcast. That's the word blue, the word poet, the word tree.com, BluePoetTree podcast. And on this podcast, we talk uplift, we talk spirituality, we talk finances, we talk goals, we talk happiness, we talk emotions, we talk the habits that it takes to endure a successful life as well as break through a stressful life. You feel me then? This is the BluePoetTree podcast. Once again, we speak the habits that it takes to endure a successful life and break through a stressful life. You feel me then? The BluePoetTree podcast. So, today's podcast, we're going to talk about confidence. Confidence. And specifically the confidence it takes to not dwell on a circumstance, break through a circumstance, and also the confidence it takes to be an alchemist, to use whatever energy and make it into what you want it to be. Alchemy is to change one thing to another form. Sometimes we could take negative energy and turn it into positive experiences. We could take negative experiences and turn it into positive energy. That's what we're talking about today. The confidence it takes to live this life, to live this life with goals and aspirations and dreams, and despite whatever is going on currently, how to be strong. But first, I'd like to start off the podcast with a poem. And I decided that I'm going to make this a thing. I was thinking about doing a different poem all the time, but I write music, I don't write a lot of poetry. So what I'm going to do is, from now on, we're going to begin the podcast with the pledge. Not the Pledge of Allegiance, but the Pledge of Life. Written by Abiodun Oyewole, the founder and creator of The Last Poets. If you don't know The Last Poets, look them up. These are the last poets were the pioneers of rap. So we're going to start this off with the pledge. You feel me then? So here we go. I want to be what I can be, to be proud, healthy and free. I want to say what I know to help my brothers and sisters grow. I want to feel good about me and blame no one for my misery, 'cause I'll be strong and turn it around. I want to go up, I'm not going down. I want to do what I can do to make all my dreams come true. Remember my past, the good and bad, how I made it art even when it was sad. I want to share whatever my gift, and when you're feeling low, I'll give you a lift. I want to live without fear and know that I'm blessed for being here. And know that you're blessed for being here. And know that we're blessed for being here. Just know that we're blessed. You feel me then? That is the pledge. If you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. You feel me then? That's the pledge originated by Abiodun Oyewole, the creator of The Last Poets. He's like a big brother to me. When I met him, I felt inclined to share that, because he does that at his open house. He does like an open house every weekend, every Sunday at his crib, and that's how he starts it off. And that is a very powerful affirmation to me. I like affirmations, and I felt like that is a very powerful series of affirmations. I want to be what I can be, to be proud, healthy, and free. It's like everyone can identify with that pledge. You feel me then? So we're going to start off the BluePoetTree podcast from now on with the pledge. Now, for today's affirmation, which talks about confidence, here we go. I am confident that no matter the circumstance, I will find a way to make things work. So, I am using that energy to create and build the life I deserve. One more again. I am confident that no matter the circumstance, I will find a way to make things work. So, I'm using that energy to create and build the life I deserve. See, this affirmation is about claiming that we have to be strong. Claim that I am strong, claiming that we have to be strong in order to beat the negative circumstance of our mind, the traumatic circumstance of our childhood, or the current challenges we are facing. You know, a lot of times we are going through things mentally. You ain't got to be mentally disabled or diagnosed as having a mental disability, or diagnosed as being psychotic or crazy or whatever, to understand that some of us are challenged mentally, like some of us have mental challenges. And these mental challenges can be anything from just doing, I talk about habits a lot. Doing the same thing over, expecting a different result. That takes some type of mental challenge. Like you're not, in your mind, you're not accepting that you got to do something different, that you got to change. Mental challenges is, living in our illusions, that goes right along with doing the same thing, expecting a different result. You might be in a relationship with someone that you don't necessarily want to be with for whatever reason, but you kind of think you can change and the relationship will change, which is good, because in order to change something, you want to change yourself. But a lot of times, chemistry is chemistry. If the relationship ain't working, it ain't working. Or you could change them, in this relationship, and that will change the relationship. And that's not good. But to change yourself is good, but still might not help the relationship as a whole if there's no, if you guys don't have the same values, the same morals, the chemistry isn't bringing the best out of both of you. So that is a mental challenge. Sometimes it's mental challenges, that we go through, and also even when it comes to like childhood trauma, childhood doesn't have to be necessarily traumatic for you to have a limiting mindset, but confidence, despite the limitations, despite the limited mindset and attitude we have been taught, learned, or conditioned to behave in, takes strength. In order to be confident, it takes strength. But what I mean by childhood doesn't have to be traumatic in order for you to still develop these limited states of mind, these limited thoughts. We limit ourselves in many ways, and you don't have to be abused or harassed or touched or neglected as a child to have these limiting mindsets or to be mentally bothered. It could be simple things such as just the certain things we were taught, like I don't know, your parent could be like, if somebody hit you, hit them back, and then you're a female think you could, I don't know, female think you could test guys, or guy think you could hit a girl, or you just defend yourself, great. But sometimes every rule or every, belief doesn't apply in every situation. So like somebody hit you, hit them back works in the right situation, like defend yourself, you feel me? But sometimes you might want to drop that, habit, or drop that belief in a situation where it doesn't need to be applied. You feel me? Because you can apply that in a situation where you get into a domestic violent relationship, or somebody's playing and you take it serious, anything, like simple things. But these type of things we're taught, it may be taught at home as a child, we may be taught in school as a child from friends and peer pressure. We kind of develop limited mindsets, limited states of mind. And what I mean by limited is we're closed-minded. We think in a closed-minded way. We think in a way that isn't free. We're not free to change. We're not free to develop new habits. We're stuck in the same cycle of things, and we think it's okay, and it is. But if we want something different, if we want something better, if we want something greater, if we want to aspire, if we want to see change, you know, because that's what happens when you grow up. You decide that, like, okay, like, I don't want this specific thing anymore, you know, like, I don't want to play with toys anymore. You want something different, you got to develop a new habit. A child has to develop a new habit when he feels like playing with toys is immature now. Like, I don't want to do this anymore. It goes from a different mindset. It goes from, I am a child and I love my toys, nobody can touch my toys, they're mine, you know, or maybe somebody can touch my toys, you want to play with me, but my toys are precious to me. You try to throw away a 4-year-old's toys and they might cry, but then you turn 11, 12, and you go to school, and then toys is like, so you develop a new mindset. You drop the habit of like, my toys are everything in my life, you know, I want to come home and play with toys, to, toys is for little kids, and I want to, you know, playing cards, or I don't know, whatever teens do or whatever preteens do. You develop a new habit, and that developing a new habit requires some confidence, requires some strength, you know. It definitely requires some confidence in order to change, you know. So this affirmation is about change. It's about developing the confidence to change, and also sometimes not even change, because when we're on a path of success, when we're on the route to striving and completing tasks, and striving to complete tasks and striving to achieve our goals, sometimes it takes confidence, or most of the time, like all the time, it takes the confidence and strength to stay the same, because there are things that could come and knock you off your path, and that's what this affirmation is about too, because it's about the circumstance. We might be having challenges in our lives. These are the circumstances, challenges, the hurdles, the issues, you know, maybe financial issues, it may be relationship issues, it may be, I don't know, like just discipline issues, it may be consistency issues, it may be procrastination issues, it may be your environmental issues where you're staying at. These, whatever is going on in your life, these can be circumstances, and it takes a confidence, a strength to maintain being focused on the goal. You understand what I'm saying? So we want to be able to take this energy of the circumstance and push and allow it to push us, allow it to inspire us even more. We're inspired to complete a goal, and then a challenge comes along, such as a relationship issue or a financial issue or environmental issue. We want to be like, I want this relationship to remind me why my dream is so important. I want the peer pressure my friends are giving me, peer pressure my friends are throwing upon me. The pressure my peers are how do I say this? Like the pressure from my peers, I want the pressure from my peers to do certain habits that they do, to remind me why it's important for me to focus on my goals, to focus on my visions, to focus on my ideas and my dreams. We want everything to remind us. We want, you know, we might be in a certain living situation that we're not comfortable with. We want everything to remind us why our goals and dreams are important, why it's important. It might, you know, goals and dreams don't always have to be like big money plans. It could just be simply paying your bills, reading to your child, you know, like developing certain habits, whatever it is. We want everything to allow you to focus on it. We want everything to inspire you to focus on it, whatever it is. You know, so that's what this affirmation is about. I am confident that no matter the circumstance, I will find a way to make things work. You know, everything is going to push me to make things work. Nothing is going to knock me off. You know, and sometimes you get knocked off. And during those times you get knocked off, remind yourself to use the energy of being knocked off to remind you how it feels to be on your path, to push you to get back on the path. You know, it's okay to get knocked off sometimes, but is it okay to stay knocked off the path, to stay doing these things and developing these habits that aren't healthy for you or aren't pushing you to achieve your goals, you know? So this confidence takes strength. It takes strength and confidence to change things that you're used to doing, these habits that you develop. And it also takes confidence and strength to maintain these habits that are good for you. You know, when challenges come along the way that may persuade you to do otherwise. You know, so a circumstance don't even have to be negative for it to be limiting. You feel me? Like, I think I spoke about this in the last chapter, in the last, podcast. Sometimes how positive environments or comfortable environments can be limiting because we accept whatever it is and then we don't strive more. You know, it's like we get somewhere and then we're just like, oh, cool, I don't need any more. And that is okay. But there's better than okay. There's great. There's phenomenal. There's, that is okay. But that's what I mean by these positive environments can be limiting. Can create this comfortability, this content, this satisfaction that kind of makes us stagnant. That kind of keeps us in a box. That kind of keeps us limited. That kind of holds us back from striving for more. But this affirmation is about finding a way and reminding ourselves to use that energy, that positive environment that is very comfortable. Use this comfortability to allow you to go harder, to allow you to create more. It's not bad to be in your comfort zone. If you're using your comfort zone to its highest potential, to your highest potential, to create more, to go higher, to go to the next level if you're using your comfort zone. And that's why sometimes these negative environments can push you more, can push you harder than these positive environments. Sometimes, not in all cases, but sometimes these environments that apply pressure kind of push us more because we feel like we have to. We feel like there's no option but to strive to get out of this type of environment. There's no option but to strive for more, because this environment isn't the more we want. So positive environments and negative environments, I think I spoke about this a few times. Positive environments and negative environments can both be limiting circumstances. When we want to be unlimited, to be free, to be, and what I mean by be unlimited and be free is we want to always see all our possibilities. We want to always see that we can create. We want to always see that there's more that we can do. We want to always see that there's more that we can learn. There's more that we can create. There's more people we can help out. There's more ways we can help ourselves. There's more value we have, there's more ways we can share our value with others. There's more ways we can feel more valuable. There's always more. So sometimes these limiting circumstances cripple us and make us feel like we're not as valuable as we think, or we don't have enough to do what we want. And that is not true. There's always more we can do. There's always ways that we can create. There's always something that we can do to express ourselves and to get our ideas out and even to learn new ideas. There's always something to learn. The learning never stops, But sometimes these limiting environments, these limiting states of mind keeps us learning the same thing over and over. It's nothing new, but we're learning the same thing over and over, and we're not even applying it, And even when we are applying it, we're getting the same results. So we want to be always able to learn new things, We want to be always able to be able to do something different, We want to always feel that we can, and that's human. Like, we human. We have the ability, we have the mind. We're the only species that have the mind to do something and make it a habit and then change the habit in order to benefit ourselves, like, I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I'm not an anthropologist. I don't know if we're the only species, but it feels like we are. I don't know if, we're human. We can eat and then decide to fast, can decide to fast. Like, that means, like, be awake and not eat on purpose, not because there's no food, but I'm choosing to fast. I don't know, bears hibernate, but I don't think that's anything close to fasting, because they're asleep and, whatever. And then, like, but the whole point is, we're humans. We test our possibilities every day. Like, somewhere right now, someone is inventing something new. Some human is inventing something new in an attempt to advance the human species, to advance the experience of being a human. We have the ability to do that. And many of us don't believe that about ourselves, that we have this ability to create something new, to advance our lives. Maybe not the whole human species, but just our families, just ourselves, just ourselves in general, just our children, we have the ability to enhance our lives in so many ways, but these limiting states of mind cripple us and makes us feel like we don't. And this affirmation is about being confident no matter the circumstance, so that we can debunk the limiting mind state, so that we can get rid of the limiting state of mind, so that we can develop a more free way of thinking. It's sometimes it feels like we're going against the grain, and we kind of are, because circumstance is the grain. And when you go against circumstance, sometimes you might be going against the people in your life. Sometimes you might be going against yourself, like, a lot of us identify ourselves with our circumstance. And if we're suffering from something or we're challenged with something, a lot of times we just want to, I don't know if we want to, but a lot of times we just get so deep in it mentally that we, like, kind of get thrown off, And in order to, immerse ourselves, or, relieve ourselves from this circumstantial frame of mind and get out of this, I'm going through something state of mind sometimes, it takes confidence. It takes some strength. It takes some confidence and strength to make things work, you feel me? And if you know that you deserve better, then it's on you to claim it. It's on you to create it, So finding a way to make things work takes building a habit or rebuilding that habit of making things work no matter what. Because everything is habitual. Everything is habitual. We either get into the habit of accepting our circumstance, and being like, oh, this is what I'm going through, and then we want people to feel bad for us, or we can get into the habit of being like, yo, I'm always going to be making things work. Like, it's, I am always going to be making things work. A lot of times we think, oh, everything is going to work out, and that is great. But with that, it's okay to say things like that. But I feel like sometimes we leave the responsibility part out. What am I gonna do to actually make things work out? How do we take responsibility? And sometimes we gotta surrender. Sometimes surrendering and just be like, yo, it's gonna work out. I'm not even gonna stress about it. I'm not even gonna put so much energy into it. I'm just gonna see how things flow. And sometimes that ideology works, So there's always times to drop your way of thinking for another way of thinking for the moment, and then there's always time to pick up a new way of thinking and apply it in the moment, because an old way or a different way of thinking might not be the best for, you know, that situation, that circumstance. Word. But, you know, if you don't know, you're about to know right now. You're about to learn. Education. And I don't know, like, the reason I stopped just now, I just got to say it because it's on my mind. A lot of times I get flashes of my dreams, you know, and a lot of times I have very eventful dreams, and I feel like they're very, I don't know, like, cool sometimes. They're interesting, you know. I don't have, like, bad dreams. I do have bad dreams when I'm not focused on my goals. I don't know if that's anybody else. But when I'm not focused on my goals, this goes back to the affirmation. My mind starts to haunt me. Like, I be, you know, and I have dreams that remind me to get on my goals. You know, so that be my circumstance reminding me to get to my goals, you know. And I realized that, you know, like, when I take a few days off of doing something that I want to do, I'll literally be like, you know, I'll be thinking so many things, and in my dreams I'll be bothered. But I was just reminded of my dream, and it was, you know, it was just, a lot of times when I'm reminded of my dream, I can't speak in the moment. I just have to stop and take it in, you know. But I just want to say, you know, a lot of times we accept our circumstance, and we accept it as a defeat. You know, like, we accept it as, like, you know, like, things is not going my way, and it is what it is. Like,